When deciding what kind of character you want to play in the Wasteland, there's a lot to consider. Who they are, where did they come from, and how did they get to where they are now? When developing your character, it's best to start at the beginning. Because as you already know, every good story has an origin. Greetings, Vault Dwellers, and welcome to the Wasteland. This is your Overseer speaking, Three-Eyed Townie, and today we're going to be talking about character origins for Fallout, the role-playing game by Modiphius. Now, this video is a continuation of a Learn to Play series that I'm putting together for the game. This is part 4 of character creation, and in previous videos I've gone over the core mechanics and the basics of the system, so if you haven't checked those out yet, you might want to take a look. A character's origin describes their background, from the day they were born to how they were raised, what they believe in, and all the events leading up to that moment where your story begins. Each of the available character origins for Fallout the role-playing game offer up different limitations and enhancements of your special attributes, your skills, and unique traits so that you'll be ready to venture off into the Wasteland. The origins that you can choose from are a Brotherhood Initiate, a Ghoul, a Super Mutant, a Mr. Handy Robot, a Survivor, or a Vault Dweller. The Brotherhood of Steel, with the self-assigned task of reclaiming and preserving technology from a pre-war world. They're a paramilitary organization. While united under one goal, there are many chapters of the Brotherhood with their own beliefs and protocols. As a Brotherhood Initiate, you get to choose how you became one. Were you born into this way of life, or are you a new recruit looking to make a name for yourself in the organization? You can draw inspiration from existing chapters of the faction, or you can create your own with its own set of beliefs and structure. The Brotherhood Initiate origin comes with a trait called the Chain That Binds. With this trait, you gain one additional tag skill, but it has to be one of the following. It can be energy weapons, science, or repair. Along with this, you are also bound to a chain of command. This means that any order given to you by a superior has to be followed, and you're responsible for your subordinates. Ghouls are a result of prolonged exposure to gamma radiation, causing a normal human to mutate. This process can happen slowly over time, or sometimes at a much more rapid pace. A ghoul does not age at the same rate, and radiation no longer has the harmful effects that it once did. As a ghoul, you could be much older than your fellow wanderers, perhaps even a human from before the Great War. If not one of the first ghouls to inherit the earth, perhaps you were a survivor of the Wasteland, or a Vault Dweller that over time became ghoulified. Civilized ghouls have been known to stick together in settlements amongst those much like themselves. But there are also communities of smoothskins that are more accepting of their superficial differences. The origin of a ghoul comes with the trait Necrotic Posthuman. This means that due to your mutation, radiation damage no longer hurts you. In fact, it heals you. You regain 1 health point for every 3 radiation damage that you're exposed to. Additionally, if you rest in an irradiated location, you can re-roll your dice pool when checking to see if your injuries heal. You gain survival as a tag skill and increase its ranks by 2. Although with these advantages, your physical appearance and state of being does come with its own issues. Skill tests using Charisma may have an increased difficulty and complication range depending on the character that you're interacting with and what they believe in. Next, we have Super Mutants. Scientists of the pre- and post-war world conducted experiments using the forced evolutionary virus, resulting in what we know as today, Super Mutants. Super Mutants have many origins in the Fallout lore, from the Mariposa military base in California to Vault 87 where they conducted experiments, to abductees in the Commonwealth, and in Huntersville, Appalachia. When creating your own super mutant character, you can claim to come from one of these locations, or you can create your own origin and use these ones as inspiration. As a super mutant, you gain the trait Forced Evolution, which means your strength and endurance are increased by 2 and their maximum is increased to 12, but your intelligence and charisma can be no higher than 6. You cannot have more than 4 ranks in any skill, but you're completely immune to poison and radiation damage. Physically, you are massive. You're over 7 feet tall, your skin is some shade of yellow, green, or gray, and you don't really seem to age. You can wear armor, but it must be made specifically to fit a super mutant. Next, we have the Mr. Handy Robot. General Atomics, in collaboration with Robco, created what we know today as Mr. Handy, a domestic automaton designed to do your household tasks. Their programming enables them to learn from their surroundings. Through this autonomy, the Mr. Handy robots were able to survive past the Great War. A Mr. Handy is powered by a nuclear core, is capable of replacing their own fuel, and self-repair. Other variations of Mr. Handy were created. There's Mr. Gutsy, Miss Nanny, and Mr. Orderly, all with their own unique personality and flavor. The trait of the Mr. Handy robot grants you the following. With your 360-degree vision and your advanced sensory systems, any perception test you perform that relies on smell or sight has a difficulty reduced by 1. You are immune to radiation and poison damage, but you gain no benefits from chems, food, beverages, or rest. Since you hover over the ground, obstacles and difficult terrain don't impede your movement. Your maximum carry weight is 150 pounds, and that cannot be increased through your strength attribute or through perks, but it can be modified through special armor. In order to recover health points or from injuries, you must use the repair skill. You have 3 arm attachments, which can be selected from the arm attachments table on page 54 of the core rulebook, giving you a variety of options. However, if you choose to not have a pincer attachment, you're unable to make unarmed attacks, manipulate objects, and you can't perform any skills using lockpick, repair, or throwing. A survivor of the wasteland comes from a long line of humanity that found the means to withstand the harsh landscape of the nuclear aftermath. A survivor could be from any number of settlements or isolated shelters, or a group of nomads traveling from place to place. When choosing the survivor origin, you can choose where you come from and what you believe in. Do you help and protect others, or do your roots lie with raiders and mercenaries? A hard life of providing for yourself has made you resilient and skilled. When playing a survivor, you're granted 1 additional perk, and you get to choose 2 traits from a table listed on page 56 of the core rulebook. Each of these traits come with a benefit and a penalty. Lastly, we have the Vault Dweller origin, protected from the outside world and the bombs that irradiated the lands. Safe inside one of the 122 Vault-Tec facilities deep underground. While a Vault Dweller has been protected from the dangers of the wasteland, they've lived their lives in isolation. However, some vaults, out of necessity, by design, or out of curiosity, have opened their vault doors to interact with the outside world. The trait of the Vault Kid reduces the difficulty of endurance tests by 1 when attempting to resist disease, and you gain 1 additional tag skill. However, due to unethical experiments that took place in the vault, your Game Master may once per quest introduce a complication that reflects one of these. With your Game Master's permission, you can choose to play a Vault Dweller that's also a ghoul. By doing so, you gain the post-necrotic human trait instead of the Vault Kid trait. Each of these origins lay the groundwork for building the character you want to play, giving you a variety of options for developing a backstory and determining the ideals and motives of your character. While the core rulebook cites specific locations that these origins come from, you're welcome to work with your Game Master to determine a location that's going to best fit your story. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you found this breakdown helpful. As you probably already know, this video is a continuation of a Learn to Play series, and we have so much more to cover. If you don't want to miss when the next video is coming out, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. You can find me and the rest of the Fallout 2D20 unofficial fan community everywhere on the internet. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, and we have a very active Discord community as well, and I'll leave links for all that in the description. And if you haven't already ordered Fallout the role-playing game by Modiphius, you can do so directly from their online shop, and I'll leave a link for that in the description too. Thanks again for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, I'll see you in the wasteland.